I'm obsessed with empowering students to try to start businesses to make it, at the very minimum, an incredible learning experience and a stepping stone for them to be much better prepared and at an advantage once they finish college, once they get into the real world.
Well, let's start with, if you could, tell us a little bit about the entrepreneurial program that you run at YULA for your school.
So the program is just a little bit over 3 years old, and it was inspired by a need to attach problem solving and really a service-oriented focus on STEAM. But what I found is that we hyper focus on the technical skill development because it is such a hard and really consuming component of STEAM and of STEM. But it's missing that I can help someone with this. I can do something in the world with these technical skills. So they brought me 3 years ago, it was 3 years ago, December, to create that space that could advance those technical capacities, include others that don't feel that they're connected to the STEAM experience, and figure out how to solve problems. And if you end up making some, successful business, well, that's awesome. But it's not about becoming an entrepreneur. It's about that entrepreneurial mindset. And so probably about 200 students have gone through the program the past 3 years. And there's a whole litany of reasons why these kinds of programs are challenging. It's an elective. It's not an honors class. It can lower a GPA. It might conflict with AP courses at the same time in the schedule. But out of those 200 students, only a handful of teams have created profitable businesses. I actually have one team right now. They're actually competing against me because I am now launching a startup around teen entrepreneurship called Double Up, and they're going to try to get pre-seed funding before me. And I was like, that's what, as educators, that's what we want. We want our students to be significantly better than us, because if not, then what did we do for them? We just gave them information to pat ourselves on the back. So that mindset's a really important piece. And looking at ways that other components in their academic experience connect to that, their strong writing skills, their communication skills, and not just large writing, like let's write another 5-paragraph essay, concise writing. Explain what you do in one sentence. Write a mission statement. What does a 45-second pitch look like? The amount of analysis and thoughtful writing and planning that goes into things like that. I mean, that's what English class should be about.
What role has PowerSchool played in that program? What have you been able to do with us with PowerSchool?
So PowerSchool support has two routes: a traditional, just a good management system to create those discussion conversations, to organize and be able to ensure that students are just getting the information that they need from me, and then I'm getting the proof that they're actually doing something by turning it in. So there's that like baseline, just like that's our central location for all learning support. But then there's the next level, which is we have a group of students that are working on creating a smart student planner, a planner that's going to hopefully use machine learning and AI to help them plan the best route for studying and being prepared and being academically successful. And that doesn't mean studying a lot. It means studying the right amount at the right time and really learning based on your efforts and your output. When is the best time for you to work? But how do they start? So we need to get information from school, from the students that are going to be using the app. So I reached out to you. You connected our students with one of the co-founders of Schoology and one of the lead developers, and actually the VP of product, who was orchestrated the conversation, but put us in touch with the right people who are just incredible product and design and developer leads. And it was incredible to see a company so interested in supporting students. Like my students are still talking about that.
How do you support your colleagues in their use of technology?
When we talk about change, no one is against change. No, right? Everyone is open to the idea of change. The question is, does that change provide an enhancement or an improvement to that person's life. And if it doesn't, so then they're averse to change. So when we look at technology as one more thing, that is problematic. And as those that are charged with training and supporting the authentic and intentional implementation of technology into teaching and learning, if anyone feels that way, we have to really evaluate that. And then that goes back to that empathy piece. So when we look at bringing technology into the space, we have to really look at why. And I'm a big fan of the 5 whys, where we really drill down so that people understand, what are we trying to do, and what support do you need from me, or what support do you need from those that are responsible for supporting, so that you can be successful. Because when we look at, bringing technology into the classroom, if it is going to create a classroom that is dysfunctional, or loses track, or lost time, and this curriculum coverage fear that it isn't even driven by the teacher, it's driven by district, it's driven by state. But there are so many factors beside, let's be 21st century, let's be technological. And it really boils down to understanding where your teachers are at, so that you can best package for that. I don't want to call it low as like they're low, but when we look at, like, instead of using a vertical, let's use a horizontal, that entry level need. Because the advanced need, like, they're doing it well, like they might already be doing it, right? They might not even need you. The middle might need a little bit of like context, but if you create it from that entry level point, you can bring everybody forward. And then you just, of course, like any good teacher, you got to support that, certain level of autonomy, self-paced, so that they don't feel like they're wasting their time in a PD or in some sort of strategy where they're trying to bring this into the classroom. But it's all about design thinking, all about empathy. And I've had many collaborative wins because of that approach.
All right, with the time we have remaining, I've got one last question. What's your one best piece of advice for fellow educators during this prolonged period of online and hybrid learning that we're still in at this moment? What's your one bit of advice to help them better connect with their students?
The best advice, and I need myself to follow it more, because I'm super extroverted. I thrive on physical connection, of seeing people and connecting with their energy. We have to find ways to connect to our students that isn't their face and their voice. There are other ways to give them a voice. There are other ways for them to be heard and be accountable. And I think finding any way for students to connect with each other and connect with you, and to share, whether it's, PowerSchool discussion is a super powerful feature. Google Slides in grid view that I saw floating somewhere on Twitter, and I wish I could remember the awesome educator. I think it was Ed Campos. I think he's the one that showed me this amazing way where you have Google Slides and grid view, and you can see the live effort of every single student in their dedicated slide. Super amazing way of keeping students engaged, giving them opportunities to discuss with one another. They're just burned out from the face-to-face on the screen. They don't want to show their back. I mean, right, there's so many reasons why they don't want to have their screen. It's not because they don't like it. So finding ways to do that, so you feel that connection with your students, because even if we're back face-to-face, there is going to be a hybrid evolution. And the more and more industry pushes, where the parents of the children that we're charged with teaching are going to be embarking on a new professional journey of what does it mean to relocate and be remote, or being able to go on vacation, where you get to work at the day and enjoy the nights in some place. And those students their children are going with them. So what, they're not going to be in school? No, there's going to be a shift. And I just want us to be best prepared to support that in other means, besides for a lecture on video where they need to just listen to you, or you want to see them listening to you.
Well, I love that vision of that brave new world that we're heading into, that's reinventing education, and I'm glad we got you here in it to help guide the way. I always enjoy connecting with you. Thank you, Michael, for giving us some of your time.
Thank you so much.